presentation of ABC Sports.
Offense is defined as the means or method of attacking or of attempting to score. In sports, the method is often different, but the outcome, when successful, is the same. Defense is the capability of resisting attack. In athletics, the resistance is attained through a concentrated, focused effort. In college football, the Clemson Tigers feature a defense that led the nation against the run. In fact, no one has rushed for the magical 100-yard mark against the Tigers in 38 games. The California Golden Bears showcase Russell White, the only Cal running back to put together back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. Quarterback Mike Pulaski spearheads the Cal attack, one of the highest-scoring teams in all the land. The 1992 Florida Citrus Bowl matches great offense against great defense. You are looking live at the Citrus Bowl in Orlando, Florida, where we start a day of great college football on ABC. It's the champions of the ACC, the Clemson Tigers, against the California Golden Bears of the Pac-10. And the Clemson seniors voted unanimously to break out the purple jerseys, the first time in the history of the school that they will wear a color other than orange or white in a bowl game. Happy New Year, everybody. I'm Brett Musburger. For California, what a Cinderella year it's been. And for the first time since 1959, the Golden Bears are playing on New Year's Day. They have brought 7,000 of their fans down here to Central Florida. Of course, Clemson's so much closer, there'll be more than 20,000 of the Tiger backers on hand today. Let me introduce you to the two quarterbacks. We're going to be talking about these two fellows all day long. Mike Pulaski of California on the right. He has thrown 21 touchdown passes this season. Yes, he will wear the eye shield. Over on the left, Deshaun Cameron, more of an option type. But the Tigers have won 85% of their games since he became the starter 3 seasons ago. Now a matchup that will go a long way for determining the outcome of the game. On the left, that's Troy Auzine. He's an All-American tackle out at Cal. Folks, he has not allowed a sack this year, but he's up against the monster today. 350-pound Chester McLaughlin, who a year ago teed off on Illinois on the first play of the game, forced a fumble. That set the stage, Dick Vermeil, for a 30-0 rout. It is going to be tough going for Cal's offense.
Well, McLaughlin's not the only big 300-pounder they have in that defense. They have defense to run so well this year. In fact, they've done it better than any college defensive football team has done it in the last 21 years. Now, they're matched up against a very well-balanced offense. But their problem is they've only been successful when they've been able to both run and pass. So I look for Cal maybe to open up passing the ball and gradually blend in the running game.
Dick, who has to step up big for Cal today?
Well, Russell White, their All-American running back. We've seen him play twice, and he hasn't played like an All-American. He has to do it today.
So the Clemson Tigers will go for their 6th consecutive bowl victory against the Golden Bears of California. Coming up on ABC.
It's the Dodge Drive for the Gold sales drive. Now own Shadow America for only $69.84 thanks to 1,000 cash back. On Caravan, get cash back, and you can get air at no extra charge. Up to $2,000 cash back on select Dodge trucks, and package savings up to $26.83. In soon. See your nearest Dodge dealer today.
If you suffer from the common aches and pains of arthritis, doctors know that a safe and effective way to relieve them is something you may already have in your home. Extra strength Tylenol gel caps. Tylenol helps relieve arthritis pain without irritating your stomach, the way aspirin or even ibuprofen can. What should you take for your arthritis pain? Talk to your doctor. The answer may be closer than you think. Tylenol, the pain reliever hospitals use most.
The Florida Citrus Bowl. Brought to you by Dodge, a division of the Chrysler Corporation. By the Die Hard battery, now with more power when you need it most. And by Red Lobster, for the seafood lover in you.
Sean Cameron showing you what transpired inside that Clemson locker room just moments ago. Off came the orange jerseys that they warmed up, and on with the purple. So for the Clemson Tigers today, it will be the purple gang, as Coach Ken Hatfield went back in the history of the school and found out that purple and orange are their actual colors, and he thought that the orange had become too dominating over the last couple of decades. So Suave to kick it off here for Clemson, as California will get the ball with the first possession. The Tigers won the toss and they deferred to the second half. Russell White, number 4, the key man, remember, and Lindsey Chapman, his backup at that running back spot. Underway at the Citrus Bowl, this is Chapman. To the middle of the field, smacked at the 22-yard line. And that's where Pulaski will put it in play as Paul Caputo, a backup fullback, comes ripping in to make the stop. So Pulaski is he's a firebrand type youngster. He wears his emotions out on his sleeves. He'll lift a team up, and he has thrown a record 21 touchdowns. Russell White, he's the key man. Greg Zomalt will have to be a protector today. Brian Treggs and Sean Dawkins, extremely talented. And we'll get a look at Troy Azine, number 52. And on first down against the blitz, he drops off a screen pass. He hits Zomalt, the fullback, with the first play of the game. A bit of a wrinkle for 16 yards.
See, they're going to want to take a little heat off that pass rush right away. That's why I said look for him to throw the ball early in the game, get those defensive linemen chasing and running, and then come with the running game.
Dick, what about the matchups up there in the line? How much help will Azine and the fellas need against these big defensive linemen?
Azine will be blocking one-on-one in the passing game all along on those big people.
White's first carry for a couple of yards against this defense. McLaughlin making his first stop of the game, wearing number 91, and he actually weighed in down here at closer to 350 pounds. And look at Buckner, he goes at 315. In that secondary, number 15 is the young man to keep an eye on. Robert O'Neill, one of the better free safeties in America, lined up back there in center field, now shading over to the right. So Pulaski trying to get it straight with his tight end, Brent Woodall, wanting him over on the left. California again throwing the ball to the underneath. It was Woodall for a first down. The tight end reaching midfield, and we will see for certain where they spot the ball, but he appeared to have first down yardage.
You know, right now they have Buckner over on the right offensive side rather than on the left offensive side. They're probably going to move him around so they can't double him up because he is that big power rusher. They throw a little delay as the zone linebackers drop out, effective for the first down.
Now here's what California's thoughts are as far as the passing game is concerned. Coach Bruce Snyder wants to open it up early and then come back with the running game in the second half. A bit of a wrinkle. Throws to a diving receiver on first down for no more than a yard. That's Zomalt, his fullback, who has become very active as a receiver here early.
He has, and again, getting back to echo what you were talking about, Brent, if they can get those big linemen running and rushing the passer and chasing the screens and the wide outside running plays, they think they can tire them out just enough so then they can run against them more effectively in the second half.
Dick, what's happening up front right now as far as the offensive line of Cal is concerned?
Right now, the defense is moving them around, so there's no pattern right now. And that play, of course, they just got whipped on that trap play.
Well, there, McLaughlin and his buddies, and they have not allowed an opponent running back to get 100 yards in the last 38 games at Clemson. They are so tough against the run. Here's the matchup.
Here he is going underneath Pod Stussy. See, the problem with him is if you get off center on a man that powerful, he will turn your body and go right on through it. You've got to stay in front of it.
3rd and 10. Pulaski with a penalty flag thrown, fires back across the green, and it is Zomalt again who is ripped down by Kenzel Jackson at the 43. Penalty flags on both sides of the line of scrimmage, and our referee is Lloyd Dale with the Southwest Conference crew.
I think they lined up on.
Chatter down on the sideline indicating they may have lined up offside. Ken Hatfield, the head coach at Clemson, and this gives you an idea as White has rushed for better than 2,000 yards at Cal, averaging 5 yards a carry, and Clemson's opponents only 1.9. But California balances the attack, and they're getting it done for Coach Bruce Snyder with the pass here in the early moments of this game.
And exactly what he told us they were going to do. Steve Mariucci, the fine offensive coordinator from Cal, said this is their plan. Get those big guys running, wear them out a little bit, then attack them a little bit more with the direct running game.
All right, now with the penalty, the ball is moved to the Clemson 45-yard line. It is 3rd and 5. California has passed for 26 yards and has run for 0 in 2 carries. Pulaski straight back, had time, throws for the first down. Jackson making the stop at the 40-yard line on the wide receiver, Sean Dawkins.
Brent, you already noticed that they aren't holding the ball for a long time to throw the ball. That was a delay underneath. It didn't take very long to get it. They get just what they need. It looks or appears to be the first down, but they're not going to hold on to the ball for a long time.
Sean Dawkins is one of the big play standouts. Pulaski likes to find him, especially in one-on-one coverage. But here early against this Clemson defense, they're not even looking for the long pass. They are trying to keep it underneath 5-6 yard quick strikes for Snyder, who is recognized now as one of the coming coaching powers as far as college football, and who knows, perhaps someday even back in the NFL, as he was on John Robinson's staff for the Los Angeles Rams before he went to Cal.
Nobody in college football has done a better job than this guy has done at rebuilding California.
And the Golden Bears with a first down at the 40. Here comes the reverse and a throw back to Pulaski. The citrus play comes early. Russell White's got it. They put it in especially for this game, and they named it the citrus. It's back to Pulaski to White for 26 yards.
You'll see the reverse happen as he comes back on the eye toss, and then it'll be flipped back. Now, it's great to run the reverse off your best running back's play. See, now they're going to flip it back. Now he flips it back to the running back rather than to a receiver. Boy, that's tough on the defense. First person, I think, ever to run that kind of play, from what I understand, was Paul Brown.
Pulaski is 5 for 5 passing for 57 yards. You'd think you throw early down here inside that 15. They haven't been able to run against this line. They're going to put it up right away. Exactly. Why wait? Incomplete. And Tyrone Muzan, blitzing that time, number 47, applies the pressure.
Those kind of plays break the discipline of your defense, Brent, and that's what happened there. No one accounted for the back that originally had the ball. You see the blitz coming from the right side of your screen, then bang to the left side of your screen. Russell White doing a good job of pass protection on the right, not a good job on pass protection to the left. Cal's been successful inside the 20, as you can see.
So Chapman checks in at running back. 3 wide receivers. They're going to throw again, and he has to fire it fast to Triggs. Triggs for the end zone and close. Inside the 2-yard line and down. But that will give California a 1st and goal. And now perhaps one of the big backs can muscle in for the Bears.
That was the old Rocket Ishmael Notre Dame middle screen. Flanker coming from the left side of your screen. They get the rush upfield. They set it. Now watch. See, he's going to draw the rush. You see how coming from the inside. He gets the blocks upfield by his offensive lineman. Ozine gets a kick out. There's the hole toward the goal line.
And a timeout being called by Clemson's defense. So we'll take a break and come right back to Orlando, Florida.
Hurry to Red Lobster for the Shrimp Feast. Start with shrimp cocktail, followed by sizzling shrimp scampi, succulent grilled shrimp, and large butterflied shrimp. What a meal. Now you know why it's called the Shrimp Feast, only at Red Lobster.
It's Red Lobster's lunch special. For a short time, get shrimp and chicken for just $3.99. Golden fried shrimp and grilled chicken breast with salad and baked potato, only $3.99. Now, every day at Red Lobster for lunch.
George, it's Mother. I know you're sick. Look by your bed. That's the #1 cough medicine. Take it and call me in the morning.
Thanks, Mom. But this cold is massive. I need NyQuil. With your cough medicine, I'd still be up tonight, sneezing and aching. And, Mom, I gotta rest, because tomorrow I'm eloping. Good night.
Vicks NyQuil, the nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever so you can rest medicine. Also available in new liquid caps.
Last year, Motor Trend's top 10 list of best buys named Dodge Shadow ES the best American econosport, Dodge Spirit RT the best American sports sedan, and Dodge Caravan the best American minivan. But now that this year's Motor Trend list is out, the picture has changed slightly.
Now drive for the gold with up to $1,500 cash back on select Dodge cars.
Undefeated Washington goes after the national crown when they meet Heisman winner Desmond Howard and Big Ten champ Michigan. It's the Rose Bowl today on ABC Sports.
Mike Pulaski wearing that protective shield, which he thinks helps him when he looks in one direction. The defensive backs cannot pick up his eye movement. He's off to a wonderful start here, passing against this Clemson defense. Big Chester McLaughlin has already taken himself out once, but he's back on the field for goal line. First and goal, up over the top they go for the touchdown. Touchdown, California, as Clemson gives up a score on its opening drive for the 5th time this year. That's a lot against that defense.
Roy, they did it with finesse football. Now, some people think you are being negative or critical of an offense when you say finesse, but you don't want to sit in there and punch these great big guys. You want to move the ball around the perimeter, get it there different ways, screens, reverses, reverse throwbacks, these type of things. And Cal, you have to give him credit. Very good job.
Doug Bryant, non-scholarship athlete. He'll get a full ride in January, and he deserves it. Adds the extra point. And California moves to an early touchdown lead on Clemson. And a splendid game plan here. No question about what they're doing with that quick drop, short passes, keeping that defense off balance.
Throwing the ball in front of the linebackers and the trip plays. The problem with that is pretty quick you run out of them. And then you have to play football. But they feel by doing this early, they can wear that big defense down just a little and then go ahead and run the football like they'd like to run the football. Here you see here, Cal has outscored their opponents 102-48 in the first quarter of this season. I think Bruce Snyder's exposure at coaching with the Los Angeles Rams under John Robinson and all that has really helped him open up his offensive thinking. There isn't anything he won't try to do with the football. Right now, they've passed 7 times and run 3 times for their first touchdown.
So they run it in for the game's first touchdown. Moving 76 yards, 10 plays, 3.5 minutes.
Here's where I think the other problem exists now, Brent, is Clemson offense. If Cal's defensive front can hold up, because they really come off the ball and nail you.
Larry Ryans, the speedster, number 20. Back deep. And Bryant ready to kick it off. Ryans from the 8. 25 to the 31-yard line, where Clemson will have their first possession behind Deshaun Cameron. Cameron getting final instructions from the sideline. Young man with 85% in the W column in 3 years. Just call him a winner. Rodney Blunt operating at that tailback spot behind big Rudy Harris. Ryans and Terry Smith are the wide receivers. Jeff Flesh, number 59, fine guard. And we'll see if Clemson elects to bring the option here early against this gambling Cal defense. It's the fullback, Rudy Harris. 8 carries on first down. Defensively, a couple of unfamiliar names who will start. The regulars there missed a practice back in Berkeley, but they will be on the field here soon, perhaps even the second series of the game. David Wilson, standout free safety, number 25 for Cal. On second down, Cameron off a fake is going to throw his first pass. He's under pressure. Incomplete. It'll be third down. And number 47, Paul Joyner, applying pressure on the quarterback.
Mac Travis, number 58, Cal's best defensive nose guard, into the right side of your screen on All-American. Jeb Flesh, 59. They're fighting a battle. That's going to be a battle that they're going to have all game. See, this is an intense war. 2 talented players. Keep fighting there, Jeb. You aren't going to let him get involved, are you? Atta boy.
Flesh in front of Cameron on this third down. Intercepted, or was it incomplete? Incomplete on the diving attempt by Zomalt down here. That was close to being picked off under desperation as 2 Cal rushmen were all over Cameron.
You know, that time Mac Travis won the battle, and he got in there along with Chidi Anatu at number 72 to put pressure on the quarterback. You know, you're going to win some and lose some, but you can see Chidi Anatu, number 72, getting in there, and there's the ball. Oh, real close.
California scores on its first possession, and for Clemson, it is 3 downs and punt. Brian Triggs driven back to the 15-yard line. Running to the right, finds an alley and a hole, and Brian Triggs dances to the 48-yard line. The punter, Chuck Lynch, able to bring him down. A 33-yard return after a 51-yard punt. Wonderful start for California.
Hi, I'm John Madden with some of America's Olympic hopefuls, announcing Chrysler Plymouth's Drive for the Goal holiday clearance. That means a donation to the U.S. Olympic team and big savings to you. Up to $2,000 or low financing. Save on Voyager and Acclaim. Get $1,000 back on Sundance. Get big savings on Imperial and LeBaron sedan. You save and the Olympic team wins. What could be better? See your Chrysler Plymouth dealers now. The holiday clearance ends soon.
If your face were square, shaving would be simple. If your face were flat, any razor would do. But your face has curves. You need the revolutionary Schick Tracer, the first razor with a blade that flexes to trace every curve on your face. Compared to other razors, Tracer puts more of the blade edge against your skin. For real faces, just like yours. Tracer from Schick traces every curve on your face.
This hand holds 2 reasons for you to can the leading aerosol deodorant. 1, better deodorant protection. 2, a better way to get it. New Shore Pro Pump. Better deodorant protection, more concentrated than an aerosol, and a better way to get it, with pumping power. So more goes where you need it, not into thin air. That's 2 powerful reasons to switch to new Pro Pump, but I'm only going to tell you once. For better deodorant protection, can the can, pump the Pro.
When the label on Florida orange or grapefruit juice says it's 100% pure, it means just that. There are no additives or preservatives in Florida citrus juice. Just 100% pure Florida goodness.
These beautiful blimp shots are coming to us from the airship Shamu. That airship is a goodwill ambassador for SeaWorld right here in the Orlando, Florida area. You know, before that punt, only 18 of Lynch's 50 punts had been returned. But what a return that was. Greg Zomalt, the running back. Pulaski being chased by McLaughlin, who yanks him down at the 35. Big Chester ran over him like a 16-wheeler.
That shows you how mobile and the talent that this man has at 352 pounds. Maybe it's true. Maybe he has run under 5 flat. Here he is to the right side of your screen, number 1. See, no one blocking him. They're going to peel back on him and try to knock him off there. They couldn't get the peel back block. Steve Gordon was there just a step late.
What I find interesting in this set is that they have moved McLaughlin away from Troy Azim. He came free on the other side, a 13-yard loss. Pulaski standing tall, hit Zumwalt, the fullback, and Clemson with Ed McDaniel, number 93, starting to deliver the hardware.
See, he came clean, Brent, because they were trying to run a sucker play over there. They pulled the lineman away from him, trying to get him to chase, and then they were going to whip back and block him from the backside. Didn't work.
So North Carolina State moves ahead in the second half. Syracuse jumps out big on Ohio State.
They like to run quick traps a lot of times in this situation.
Third and long, dropping to White underneath.
Number 4, Russell White.
And White to midfield with Bob Bodine, talented nose man.
Ron Dickerson.
99, a walk-on from the state of North Dakota.
Ron Dickerson, the defensive coordinator for Clemson, said that he hasn't faced a team all year that screens so efficiently as Cal has. They don't see that many screens and the variety in the ACC.
Clemson's defense played much more aggressively in that series than they did in the opening series. Whatever Dickerson had to say to them on the sideline was very effective, and if they made any tactical changes, but it just seemed to be a little bit different effort. Now Cal will punt. Noonan's left-footed punt. Fielded on the run by Stevens. And Darnell down at the 21-yard line. A 1-yard run as Cal's excellent punt coverage keeps that ball down by the 20.
Got stranded once. Never again.
Look, there's a reason more people go to Sears for a new battery than anywhere else.
Face another winner without a diehard? No way.
Only Sears has the Die Hard. In tests for cold cracking starting power, Die Hard performed 3 times better than industry standards.
Out here, if you don't have a Die Hard, you don't have a prayer.
Sears Die Hard battery. More power when you need it most.
Who's going to back you better than Sears?
A recent Department of Energy study reveals that most American homes are under-insulated. And that means you. To find out what's right for your home, call Owens Corning at 1-800-GET-PINK.
The tab is yours. Then 6 more people show up. A preset limit on a bank card sure could be embarrassing. Instead, you order more wine. The American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
Alka-Seltzer Plus goes to the Arctic Circle, where the toughest colds live.
The cold is miserable in this environment.
Alka-Seltzer Plus takes care of the aches, the runny nose.
It does the job.
Alka-Seltzer Plus fights tough winter colds with a combination of ingredients you can't get anywhere else.
Alka-Seltzer Plus has done exactly what I've needed it to do.
If I don't go to work, the kids go hungry.
Alka-Seltzer Plus, tough medicine for tough winter colds. For nighttime relief without alcohol, try Alka-Seltzer Plus Nighttime.
Hello, everyone. This is Bruce Snyder, head football coach at Cal. This is the football coaching staff. And from all of us from the University of California, we want to wish you a
Happy New Year! Go Bears!
And for all those Bear fans out on the West Coast, coming up on 11 o'clock, in case you just joined us, your Bears scored with their first possession. They lead Clemson 7-0. Clemson on the toss now with Blunt cutting back to the middle of that defense and getting to the 29-yard line before safety David Wilson is forced to make the tackle. That is absolutely critical for Clemson. They will try to get their running backs into that Cal secondary. You'll see 8 defensive players bunched up at the line of scrimmage, and they'll try to make their way through that gambling defense of Coach Snyder's.
Kent Baer, the defensive coordinator for Cal, said it's imperative that they do a real good job on first down and prevent the 2nd and 2s and 3s. They didn't do it that time.
Cameron uses Blunt on a power play. They use the fullback to isolate on a blocker, and Blunt hammers for a first down. Sean Eshelman making the stop for California. Rodney Williams was the #1 tailback coming into the season. He suffered a knee injury warming up prior to the North Carolina State game, re-injured the knee later in the year, and so Ronald Williams not able to go, and Rodney Blunt steps in.
Ken Hatfield says he is a very much team-oriented player, and they really like his performance this year.
First down. Cameron has time, throws, and it was dropped. Wide receiver dropped the ball. That's Dwayne Bryant, number 1, and he probably should have had this one.
See, it's just a simple, short sprint out. Stop pattern in the slot. He's going to sprint to the right side of your screen. 2 pass protector. Chidi Ahanatu, number 72, got his hands up, but not high enough to deflect it. There it is. See, you've got to reach for the ball, and don't let it always hit your pads. You've got to reach out and draw it to your body. He did not do that.
Cameron was the MVP of the Tigers' win a year ago over Illinois. They beat the Illini 30-0 over in Tampa. Here he is sprinting down, keeping it on the option, and he is popped at 37. Ryan Perry there defensively, and now a little tussle breaks out after the play.
Keep your poise, guys. This is the load option, meaning they're going to pull the guard to the right side of your screen. There, see him pull. The fullback's going to lead. He's not faking to anybody. He just, see, they're trying to block the people and take the quarterback. Wilson coming inside out did a good job, and so didn't get that last number there, but they did a good job of stringing that out. I'm surprised they haven't run more options to this point.
I think that was Ryan Perry there.
Was that Ryan Perry?
A year ago, Cameron was 14 of 19 for 141 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Illini. He is finding that going a little bit tougher against this very aggressive California defense. He is 0 for 3 so far this afternoon against the Bears. The ball is at the 37 with this 3rd down. He needs to get up to the 42-yard line. Firing and way out in front of Ryans that time. So Cameron starts 0 of 4, and Clemson forced the punt again.
Remember what coordinator Larry Vanderhayden said about Deshaun Cameron. He says he's got to start out good, because if he starts out good and gets hot, boy, we really play better. If he struggles early, it usually takes him a while to get going. See, he had a man open then. When you have a man open, you've got to get it to him.
Brian Trigg set to return this punt for California. Another beautiful punt. Remember, he had a spectacular return. He's almost punting too strong, isn't he? Cut back into the middle, and a nice tackle by Ashley Shepard, number 96, pulls him down there. So Pulaski and California will have the ball coming out from the 18-yard line. What surprises you so far in this one, Dick?
Well, you know, everybody has a game plan, and you prepare and prepare and prepare, and you get so much time to prepare for a bowl game like this. But normally, most things don't work as well as that first series did for Cal. You know, usually you get a thing or two stuffed in your game plan initially. For Cal, good planning, it all worked.
There are some rumors circulating about Coach Snyder's future. Even heard the dreaded words Arizona State mentioned by someone down here this week. So when you get to be successful, as he is, the rumors will start. Pulaski back, firing, complete to Dawkins. Dawkins popped after a 9-yard gain. Wayne Simmons there defensively for the Tigers.
See, they get Clemson thinking run on first down. They throw the football. This will be a pattern I think we'll see most of the first half. Clemson is liable to change up, though, and get right in. See, they're going no huddle right now. They're not going to let him breathe.
Hawley and Chapman, the running backs, but Pulaski on 2nd and 1 is going to try to get it all. Dawkins one-on-one, throws, cut, but out of bounds. Wow, that would have been something.
Dawkins is their big play receiver. We've had the opportunity to broadcast 2 Cal games, and we've seen him make the big play. See, that ball's throwing just a little too far to the outside. Got to keep that more inside, and he tries to stay inside the ball himself as a wide receiver.
Now on 3rd and 1, they can come back with a Russell White run, or even use Zomalt. They can feature him. What's impressive so far is the California offensive line is not allowing much of a pass rush. Fumble on the snap, picks it back up, and battles down in the middle. There is the best of Mike Pulaski trying to correct a mistake. He didn't just fall on the ball. He said, let's take on a couple of defensive players, and a penalty flag comes flying.
What happens on a play like that, Brent, is many times you're going to go on a quick count, and someone else makes a noise, even a defensive signal, and it just doesn't get up there cleanly because they snap it just a little off rhythm. That time it looked like it was snapped through Pulaski's arms.
They're coming over to the sideline to tell Coach Ken Hatfield that this may have been a personal foul against Clemson.
Personal foul signaled against Clemson.
And I see 89 coming off over here on the sideline. That's Brenston Buckner. We'll get a check downstairs and see if he's been ejected from this game.
I visited with him in the...
He's walking back to
Dead ball, personal foul, defense, player ejected.
Yes, indeed. He's going off. Now, Buckner would have been matched against Ozine in that switch. There's the right arm delivering what appeared to be a blow in that huddle as we rock it back and forth. And he rocked that, and we'll see it on this replay. Here it is right there, and Buckner is gone.
Boy, that's a big loss.
Now on first down, Dawkins, and respect from Tony Mooney on that side. And here's a receiver you don't want to be off of too far because he will eat you up. That's 11 more yards. Pulaski to Dawkins. What a start for the Bears.
Again, no huddle. They're going quick. They're gonna try to drain some energy out of that 300-pound front. They just drained one guy quick. He's in the locker room. And I don't think that's typical of Brenston Buckner's personality at all.
Kirkland is picked up, firing again to the sideline. So Brenston Buckner ejected from the game. He's finished for the afternoon.
I had a chance to visit with him the other day. He was really excited about playing against Russell White, but just out of respect, he said he's a great back, and I'm fired up about having the opportunity to try to tackle him.
Okay, meanwhile, back on the field, it's this offensive line of Cal that is done now. Kirkland gets incoming, and he got the pass off anyway to Treggs. Ryan Treggs with 36 straight games with a catch, and another big play for the Bears, a 12-yard gain.
I think Ron Dickerson, the defensive coordinator from Clemson, is going to have to come up with some double zone coverages and roll up on these corners and get out of those one-on-one situations, because these kids play catch all year round in California, you know.
Pulaski is 12 of 14 for 124 yards against this defense in the early going. Kirkland backside still gets it off complete again. Caldwell, and a penalty flag thrown. Penalty flag thrown back at the 42-yard line. We talked about how they might go back to the running game in the second half. They might just stick with this passing game.
Well, in that, the no huddle thing prevents him from substituting people in there, too. I think they called roughing the passer. Here's Pulaski, number 9, middle of your screen, short sprint out, good block right there by Holly, number 5. Here they're going to come in. Oh, yeah, they hit him right there in the back after he threw the ball. Levon Kirkland, number 44, and David Davis, number 97.
Yeah, Kirkland initiated the contact. He pushed him in, and Davis couldn't avoid it.
No, I know. They're really calling this closely.
Holly and Chapman, the running backs, and Clemson reeling on defense. With a 1st and goal earlier, Pulaski threw it. Let's see if he does the same here. He will. Fade pattern taken away. Bullets to the end zone, incomplete. Mooney with coverage there for the Tigers.
He'd have been better off throwing that out of the back of the end zone, Brent. That was a risky throw. He had pressure on him there. Al Richard was there. Tight coverage on it. You shouldn't take a chance when you're leading like this. That's the competitive spirit in this young man.
Marvelous start for Pulaski in the Citrus Bowl.
See, the other thing, you coach a quarterback in these situations, you're already in short field goal range. Don't take a sack. Get it out of the back of the end zone.
This is the 8th pass in 9 plays on this drive, but he won't get it off. He's sacked at the 14-yard line. Here's Chester McLaughlin along with Al Richard.
Again, he could not throw the ball right when he wanted to throw the ball. Now, Pulaski, number 9, middle of your screen, coming back. See, he's going to look to the left. He wants to throw. He can't throw. He can't throw. He's holding on to the ball. Here comes Big Chester. And there's Richard on the other side. What a sandwich they made out of him that time. There's 300 pounds on each side.
Well, Troy Auzine at left tackle is simply not matching up with McLaughlin. They have moved him to the other side. Now, let's see where Chester's going to come. He's going to come down on Auzine. This time, Chester's going to take on the All-American. Auzine went down and the back help picked him up. McLaughlin comes free, deflected, incomplete. Wayne Simmons defending Sean Dawkins that time. And the field goal unit with Doug Bryan trots onto the field. Bryan struggled for Coach Snyder against Stanford in the big game at the end of the season out of the Pac-10. He also had not kicked well in practice, according to the coach. So this is a big moment for California. Pulaski will put it down at the 21. It's a 31-yard attempt by Bryan.
He's 7 for 11 from this distance this year.
On its way and good. So you can surmise that the Buckner penalty cost his Clemson team a 3-point field goal. You can't draw a conclusion because you don't know what would have happened after the play, even if he hadn't been kicked out, but the penalty certainly moved the ball down the field. Well, this is just the start of a huge triple-header on ABC. The big one, Washington against Michigan. Cal fans, those in the Midwest, really eager to see this year's Rose Bowl. Then, later, another team with the national championship argument. The Florida Gators will play the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame in the USF&G Sugar Bowl. So it's the Rose, the Sugar Bowl, still to come here today on ABC.
You know, Brent, I have felt all along that Washington was the best team in the country, but I really believe Michigan has improved so much through the year that it's going to be one heck of a battle, and it could go in favor of Michigan.
Well, here it is gone all California, scoring a touchdown on a 76-yard drive, then coming back with a 31-yard Bryan field goal. Coach Snyder and the Bears leading 10-0. Who would have thunk it?
Yeah, I wouldn't have. I look for Larry Vanderheyden, the offensive coordinator for Clemson, to come out and run the option running game, because Cal doesn't see that but once a year in the Pac-10 at the Oregon State. They were the only, and Oregon State made over 200 yards running.
One of the differences when you look at the two teams, Clemson does not have that standout big play performer who can get you right back into the middle of this ball game. They're very efficient, especially defensively, and they can grind it out. But now is the kind of game when you look for someone to bust a 60 or 70-yard play, and you're just not sure if you can find the right person on the Clemson team. Something to think about here as this one continues.
Deshaun Cameron has to come up with the big plays. They've said that all along, and it's true, both in the option game and in the passing game.
And he's probably down a little bit mentally because he's not throwing the ball successfully here in the early going.
And he had one dropped.
Ryan hammers the ball to Easton at the 2-yard line. Oh, short of the 20-yard line. So Cal making all the plays as Scott Roseman, number 43, whips the return man there short of that 20. Good kickoff coverage, and California looks real sharp here in Florida. It's the first time that California's ever played a bowl game in Florida. And Cameron's 0 for 4 so far and trailing by 10 points.
Well, Coach Hatfield from Clemson said the quarterback with a hot hand will direct the winner.
And that hot quarterback so far has been Pulaski. The toss to Blunt. Blunt spins out to the 24-yard line.
See, Cal plays an 8-man front, meaning 8 people up the defensive run, and they play a 3-deep secondary, some of it man-to-man. If you run the option, it eliminates some of the man-to-man coverage. You'll see the 8 people right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and there's another one out here to the right side of your screen. 8 people.
The fullback, Harris, into the middle of that defense. Nothing going.
Mick Barsala is now back in the game. He did not start. He's been their starting linebacker all year. Pasadena City College JC transfer, fine player, honorable mention all Pac-10. You know, I think he's one of those guys that would go bungee jumping. You know, he's a reckless, abandoned type player.
Yes, there were several players we get a chance, we'll show you that video, who did take that 200-foot leap. A little bungee activity down here in Central Florida. Third down. The blitz was coming. Cameron has one-on-one, looks for the big play, and it's incomplete. Terry Smith matched up on the outside, had a step. Ian Cameron could not connect. So it is 3 and out for Clemson again.
See, that tight coverage forces you to throw the ball right on the money. And Deshane Cameron came into this ball game in the completing 70 of his last 115 passes. So he came in with a real hot streak. He's got to get hot.
Well, now it's the Clemson defense or the punt defense team searching for the big play. Under pressure, he did just get that one off to Triggs.
Beautiful punt, though.
California now dictating the game as Triggs finds an alley on the left. Triggs busts free. Brian Triggs returns a punt for a touchdown. There are no penalty flags. The Golden Bears go up by 3 scores on the 72-yard punt return by Triggs.
71-yard punt return.
You'll see here, this was a good punt. It should have been able to be covered. Some Clemson players were really not sprinting to get in coverage, and then they overran the football. Didn't come to balance, as you see right there. Now there's a little block right there, and he goes ahead and takes them down the sideline. Not blinding speed, good elusive runner. Longest kick punt return of his career. He came into the game with a 35-yarder being the longest. That was the biggest and the longest.
Doug Bryan adds the extra point. We're still in the first quarter, and California leads it 17-0.
Watch him set this up. He stretches it, and then he attacks it. Shake and break right there. Defender's not coming to balance. Gets a pickoff block right there. Now it's just speed. He gets a little brush block here, right here by Bryant, number 1. Sets him free. Poor coverage all the way. And Coach Hatfield said yesterday, my big concern is the kicking game, because sometimes with a long layoff, you lose your concentration. Clemson has lost their concentration in the kick game.
Well, I've got one idea for Clemson, something they might try at halftime, Dick. Might go back in the locker room and put on the orange jerseys. Let's play this one in the orange.
Yeah,
California, the youngsters, when they saw him come out, they don't have any idea what the colors are over there at Clemson. They didn't know whether they're purple or green or what the deal is. If you bring them out against North Carolina State, it probably has more significance. So Brian Triggs, who has moved, I guess, to Palo Alto after his taunt prior to the Stanford game. And there's a fan that says, this is ridiculous, man. I'm going back to Clemson. What's the deal here? I'm going to go back to the SO Club. I'm going to watch the rest of this one and wait for the Rose Bowl. I've had enough.
The one thing you know about Clemson football is that it's not over until it's over. The second quarter has been their big offensive quarter, scoring 101 points in that quarter. By far their best quarter. They just got to get their motors running.
High, deep kickoff to the 1. Let's see if Easton can do any better this time. He does. Breaks free at the 30. And it'll be at the 32, and let's go down and wish a Happy New Year to Cheryl Miller. Cheryl?
Thanks a lot, Brent. Well, I found out from the officials that Brinson Buckner was indeed ejected from the game for throwing a punch. I talked to a couple of the Clemson coaches. They also told me that this would definitely affect them in the depth and stamina in this position. Brent?
Thank you very much, Cheryl. And 4 possessions for California and 3 scores. 2 touchdowns and a field goal. Clemson needs something here in a hurry. We're still in the first quarter of this one. A shocker against this defense. Harris busts it. He's in a foot race. Wilson for the angle. Wilson from the angle's got him out of bounds. A penalty flag. He may have grabbed the face mask on the big fullback that time as Rudy Harris bolts 43 yards.
Rudy Harris is the fullback that broke the Duke game in Japan wide open. Had a great game rushing for 126. Watch to the right side of your screen. Good block by the tight end to the right side of your screen. They hand it off, and they just hand it off. He's reading that all the way. Poor tackle right there by the outside linebacker. Now here's a 240-pound fullback outrunning the secondary to the sideline. There's a face mask right there by David Wilson, number 25. See, they come down the line of scrimmage and read that play. If the defender is outside, they hand it off. If he closes it, the quarterback keeps it.
And there is the difficulty of having that gambling, stunting defense up front. If you break it, you can break it big at the line of scrimmage, and you've got only a defensive back to beat.
Right, the other guys are playing man-to-man.
Face mask foul, defense, first down.
Ball put on the 20-yard line for the first down. Clemson's best opportunity of the game. Bryant, the wide receiver. Hall replaces Harris as the fullback. Pair of tight ends. Blunt hit behind the line by Mac Travis. Travis comes off his block, slides in behind, and wrestles the ball carrier down. This is the biggest hole the Tigers have ever been in. They've not trailed by 17 points yet this year.
Mac Travis is a second-team All-Pac-10 defensive tackle in there, playing like a first-string Pac-10 defensive tackle right now.
A big series as Cameron, who hasn't completed a pass yet, gets one to Smith. Smith slipped a little bit, and then the cleanup man is number 55. Jarrett Willard along with Ryan Perry.
You can see that Jarrett Willard is a first-team freshman All-American. He can really move, led the team in tackles with 85. He's made a lot of big plays behind the line of scrimmage. Played on the South Shrine team in California. When you can make the South Shrine team in high school in California, you're a fine player.
Clemson forced to punt each of its first 3 possessions today. 3rd down and 7. They'll probably use both downs in an effort to get the first, trailing by 17 on the draw. Blunt is short of it. They're going to need 5 yards. I'm not so sure that Hatfield won't kick the field goal. He's going to go for the field goal here. Nelson Welsh trots out on the field with time running down. He's down by 2 touchdowns and a field goal. He has to get a field goal somewhere in this sequence, so he might as well go now because it would be 4th and 5.
You always have to be alert when you're defensing a Hatfield kicking game. They have a lot of tricks up their sleeve, believe me.
Not a whole lot of wind. I'm not sure that it makes a lot of difference if they let the time run out here for the end of the quarter. They're going to kick it before it ends. He blasted that one good, didn't he? A 32-yard field goal by Nelson Welsh. The first quarter comes to an end. 3 words describe it: wild and woolly, and mostly California, folks.
We got a problem. Any ideas? I've got a contact, sir. Well, get on it then.
Get him here now.
He's been with the organization for a while. Nice job, son.
With years of training, Napa Auto Care technicians provide a secret service everyone should know about.
With service to more cities across the Atlantic than any other U.S. airline, Delta now makes it easier than ever for the people of America to get to know the people of Europe.
Buongiorno.
Bonjour.
Fia.
Guten Tag.
Grüezi.
Delta, we love to fly and it shows.
Здравствуйте.
What do you say, what do you say?
Like a pack mule or one of them oxen. That's how I'm working this morning. By 11 o'clock, forget about it. I'm thinking Whopper at Burger King. Extra cheese, extra pickle, extra everything. By 11:30, I can taste it. That juicy flame broiled burger with all the melted cheese coming together in my mouth with the onions, lettuce, and tomato. Bada boom, bada bing. It's a beautiful thing.
Your way, right away at Burger King now.
Hi, I'm John Madden with some of America's Olympic hopefuls, announcing Chrysler Plymouth's Drive for the Goal holiday clearance. That means a donation to the U.S. Olympic team and big savings to you. Up to $2,000 or low financing. Save on Voyager and Acclaim. Get $1,000 back on Sundance. Get big savings on Imperial and LeBaron sedan. You save and the Olympic team wins. What could be better? See your Chrysler Plymouth dealers now. The holiday clearance ends soon.
The Florida Citrus Bowl. Brought to you by Mitsubishi Montero, a luxury car with the luxury of four-wheel drive. And by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light.
We're back. Clemson trailing 17-3, kicking off to start the second quarter. It has been the California passing of Mike Pulaski that has been all the difference in the world. Suave takes this one deep. Fielded at the 18 by Chapman. Chapman to the 34-yard line. 1st and 10 for Cal. All right, Dick, let's make you the defensive coordinator for the Purple Gang here. They're doing a spectacular job against the California rush, but how do they get to Mr. Pulaski?
Well, the first thing I think you got to do is get some other type of coverage on the two wide receivers, so when he sets up to throw, he has to hold the ball to allow the rush to get there. It's going to be hard to get to Cal with a direct rush because they've only given up 9 sacks on the season coming in here, Brent. So you've got to take the pattern away downfield, slow up the delivery, and then let the pressure get there.
We had more action than we had in 4 quarters in Kansas City. Now that's something that they're just not able to do. Levon Kirkland, number 44, and the talented linebacker, makes the stop for the Tigers. They're just not running the ball, but they've passed for better than 130 yards.
I think this no huddle, too, is just breaking the continuity of Clemson's defense. Now they're going into what I was talking about, it appears anyway, a double zone look.
McLaughlin over on Azine, a bull rush. Azine gets help. Pulaski stands in and throws high. McLaughlin was coming, but that time they gave Azine help against the big fella as we take a look at the first quarter numbers.
As you can see, time and possession is not very important. It's just more important to do a real good job with your offense. Cal not rushing the ball very well, but throwing the heck out of it.
They'll fire it again. He steps in that pocket, and he wanted Caldwell. Defending Caldwell was Kenzel Jackson, the linebacker. He was draped all over him. Good coverage that time.
That's the first series, 1, 2, 3 and out for Clemson defense. They're used to playing that kind of defense. 1, 2, 3 and get out of here.
The way the punting games have gone in the bowl game so far. Remember, Oklahoma jumped all over a Virginia punt. Clemson may try to tee off here on Chris Noonan. They also have Darnell Stevens, number 30. He is a superb deep return man, along with Robert O'Neill. Oh, they were coming down the middle that time. Stevens fumbles at the 13, picks it up. Down at the 15-yard line. A 52-yard punt by Chris Noonan. California up 17-3 in the Citrus Bowl.
The same bold engineering that made the Mitsubishi Diamante such a successful luxury performance sedan has now taken automotive luxury in an entirely different direction, introducing the all-new Mitsubishi Montero, a luxury automobile whose luxuries include state-of-the-art four-wheel drive. The 1992 Montero by Mitsubishi. The word is getting around.
What do you smell?
I can't smell anything. My nose is clogged, yeah.
For fast relief, try Dristan 12-hour nasal spray. Now smell.
It's an orange. Dristan nasal spray just works incredibly fast.
Dristan, the face of relief today.
Someone's taken some steps to juice up their batteries. And today's Duracell batteries can even outlast the ones we made just a few years back. You can't top the copper top.
They ate the same lunch, got the same heartburn. But his antacid is very different. His Tums has calcium. Most antacids don't. Regular Rolaids uses an aluminum salt. This uses aluminum and magnesium. So does this. Of all these, only Tums helps wipe out heartburn and gives you calcium you need every day.
Something my body needs anyway. I like that.
Calcium-rich Tums. That's the one you want.
The SEC champion Florida Gators battle the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. It's the USF&G Sugar Bowl, tonight on ABC Sports.
We're back at the Citrus Bowl with Dick Vermeil. I'm Brent Musburger. California scoring 17 points in the first quarter, leads Clemson 17-3. The Tigers breaking out the purple jerseys, come out from their own 15-yard line. Blunt, bust free, and Wilson again forced to make the tackle. It's at the 25-yard line. The running game starting to open up with those big line splits now that they're using.
You mentioned big line splits. Look at this split here, good split here, good split, and huge split here. What they're trying to do is spread that gap, that front 8 defense out there, and allow a good crack for the fullback to come in and block that linebacker. Boy, that was a big hole. They moved the splits according to the play called.
Chester McLaughlin could have run through that hole.
Well, what Cal will do is when they see those big splits, they'll call a line stunt and see if they can't beat them inside.
Somebody in there and applies some pressure. There's a flag that was picked up, I believe. Let's see what he says.
Offside, defense, declined, first down.
So they made the first down on the run with the ball at the 26-yard line. And Deshaun Cameron, the senior quarterback.
You can see those splits now. Look at them, really big.
The hand to Harris. Harris muscles to the 34.
Boy, look, they're going to have to bring a backer or stun a tackle or in those gaps. Oh, talk about being on an island.
2nd and 2.
Sometimes you'll get an offensive lineman and they'll get scared about a split like that. And as the game wears on, it gets hotter and hotter, they'll draw closer and closer to their teammates. I've seen that happen as Paul Caputo checks into the backfield. Harris blasting for the first down, and Clemson now starting to run with a purpose.
See, the one thing the big splits do, it eliminates getting help from your offensive lineman. Your guy to your inside, you're too far away from him, see? Or you can't help the guy to the outside because you're too far away. You can't zone block with those great big splits.
First and 10. Cameron with a pitch to Blunt. Well defended that time by the Bears.
See, he wanted to throw that ball, Brent. He wanted to throw it, but Chris Cannon had the receiver covered, number 18. He couldn't throw it, so he went ahead and turned it into an option running play. Good defense by Cal. Now, see, he's going to come down. He's going to be faking the option, but he wants to throw it. He wants to throw it. See, now it's taken away. Now he turns it into an option. That's tough to do. You really have to coach to get that done. Matt Travis in there putting the pressure on him.
And Ray Sanders making the stop. And it's 2nd and 16. This is a position Clemson does not like finding itself in. Cameron, with only 1 completed pass in 6 attempts, uses Smith, his favorite target, to go in motion. And Blunt stuffed at the 29-yard line by Brad Powers.
Brad Powers, a great big young 6'7", 255-pound player out of Bellarmine High School in San Jose. Played for the North in the Shrine Team game in California. Big young guy. I saw him the other day on the practice field. I think he's probably put on a few pounds since the start of the year, but he has great potential.
So it's 3rd and a bunch for an option team that doesn't like facing a situation like this at all. Straight back, drops it to Blunt on the screen. Alley on the left side. Blunt to the 44-yard line, short of the first down.
Number 18, Chris Cannon.
Chris Cannon defensively, a 15-yard gain, so they need 4 more.
They did a nice job of executing that screen, Brent. You know, that's not a big phase of their offense, but they did a good job of executing it.
Now, you know, Clemson came into this game allowing only 86 yards on punt returns, and so far today, California has 108 yards, including a spectacular 72-yard return for a touchdown by Brian Treggs, as Chuck Lynch is back to punt again. He booms one to Mr. Treggs. From the 15 to the middle, dives to the 26-yard line. Will be California ball. A 9-yard return off that 40-yard Lynch punt.
When you're looking good, you want Bud Light. The clean, fresh taste won't fill you up and never let you down.
You can taste it, you can feel it, you know you got it right. 'Cause everything else is just a light. Just keep your Bud Light shining. Everything else is just a light. You got to shine on. Everything else is just a light.
Just flakes, huh? A little old-fashioned, don't you think? It's too simple. I mean, I know you're going for that good old days thing, but all this makes me think of is the Depression. Now, wait a minute. This doesn't taste old-fashioned. It's good. I like this simple. I like it a lot.
Kellogg's Corn Flakes.
Kellogg's Corn Flakes.
Taste them again for the first time.
Before purchasing an object of considerable value, some feel it's wise to have it appraised. Appraisals are now in on the new Mitsubishi Diamante. Needless to say, we're very pleased. The Diamante by Mitsubishi. The word is getting around.
The Fighting Tigers of Clemson University wish you a Happy New Year 1992. And watch out for the paw.
Well, that paw has been rather soft here in the first half so far, yielding 17 points. Clemson, a winner of the ACC. This is the last year of their agreement to send their champion to the Citrus Bowl. Russell White on a cutback against that tough run defense. Gets 3 yards and no more. Ashley Shepard is there. Let me follow up on that Citrus Bowl story, because next year, and let's compliment Jim Delaney for a strong, smart move here. The runner-up in the Big Ten is going to come to Orlando, Florida, and play here in the Citrus Bowl against an at-large team that well could be one of the top teams out of the Southeastern Conference, as the ACC goes off to that bowl alliance that is suddenly up in the air. The third-place Big Ten team will go to the Holiday Bowl. So some great sights for Big Ten fans, as this one is deflected by Rob Bodine, the walk-on nose man out of North Dakota, who has done a spectacular job in that spot for Coach Ken Hetfield.
Bodine, as we were talking to him the other day, he works on a dude ranch, right? Yeah, he knew a little bit about where you come from in Montana, too, didn't he?
Yeah, we tell North Dakota jokes in Montana.
Yeah. Here he is, number 99, the middle of your screen. Goes from a walk-on to an All-American. Good job by Bodine.
Suddenly, Pulaski is cold. He's missed his last 5 passes. He was blazing in the early going in this one. Now faces a 3rd down against this Clemson defense. Short drop, has time. Sidearms it to Caldwell, but that's short of a 1st down. California forced a punt as Norris Brown gets it done defensively for the Tigers.
Well, Pulaski came up there and read blitz, man-to-man coverage, and he went ahead and checked to a man-man pattern. Good tackling, prevented the 1st down.
The last time Cal went back to punt, and here he is, Chris Noonan, there was enormous pressure up the middle. Clemson came very close to blocking the last punt.
He hasn't had one blocked all year, but that doesn't mean it doesn't happen now. But they did get great pressure last time.
They put Robert O'Neill here on the left side. They're going to try to get something going off the corner. They've moved O'Neill up tight. Hatfield trying to go for it. Here they come. Easton, he could not get there. The punter is down. There is no flag. This is Stevens from the 19-yard line. Stevens dancing. Will not get away and out of bounds at the 18-yard line. A 48-yard punt brilliant punt, and a -1 on the return. Cal's punt team doing an excellent job here today.
The same bold engineering that made the Mitsubishi Diamante such a successful luxury performance sedan has now taken automotive luxury in an entirely different direction, introducing the all-new Mitsubishi Montero, a luxury automobile whose luxuries include state-of-the-art four-wheel drive. The 1992 Montero by Mitsubishi. The word is getting around.
This year in Lake Edna, the best place to watch the big game was Al's Discount TV and Appliance Emporium. Knowing a good deal, Al got some KFC Super Buckets. He got 15-piece buckets, variety buckets with 3 kinds of chicken, and jumbo buckets of 36 hot wings, just $9.99 each. Everyone went home happy, especially Clara Campbell, who bought a juicer at halftime. New KFC Super Buckets, just $9.99. A great deal in Lake Edna or your neck of the woods.
With service to more cities across the Atlantic than any other U.S. airline, Delta now makes it easier than ever for the people of America to get to know the people of Europe.
Buongiorno.
Bonjour.
Via.
Guten Tag.
Grüezi. Delta. We love to fly and it shows.
Здравствуйте.
With Florida's ideal growing conditions and subtropical climate, citrus grown here is juicier and sweeter than citrus grown in arid regions.
9:42 to go here in the first half of the Citrus Bowl. California playing on New Year's Day for the first time since the '59 Rose Bowl. Leading Clemson 17-3. The Tigers have won 5 straight bowl games. And now Deshaun Cameron, who's won 85% of his starts, faces an uphill battle against this tough Cal defense. And the fullback, Harris, is stuffed that time. The big play of the game so far belongs to California. And it was Brian Triggs with this 72-yard punt return, Dick.
And you just don't see many punt returns for touchdowns. I think we've seen one all year, and this is like our 30th game this year. Outstanding play by Bryant, and he hasn't broken the log punt return all year. Coming into the ball game, 35 yards was his longest one. Here he is, breaking the record at the right time.
And again, we go back to the top of the broadcast. The difference, California has big players. And now it is Cameron who has to come back for Clemson, throwing high and out of bounds to Bryant. Throwing hard the run and under pressure, he overthrew the wideout, #1 Bryant. He is now 2 of 8 for 19 yards throwing the ball. And when you're trying to come from behind, you need accuracy at that spot.
And he has been the kind of quarterback, if he starts out hot, he gets harder. If he starts out cold, he struggles. This is what the coaches were concerned about.
The Cal defensive staff very aware that they're trying to spring the fullback. And on that first down play, they jumped all over Rudy Harris. Now it's a single back attack for Clemson on 3rd and 10 as Blunt goes in motion. Cameron under pressure, sacked. Hammered at the 8-yard line. Paul Joyner busts through.
Paul Joyner getting his chance to play today because of being the starter being disciplined, and here he is making big plays. Out of Muir High School in Southern California. 47, the middle of your screen. He's going to be blitzing left side. Here he comes right up the gut. No one comes off and picks him up. Hey, no one blocks you. You ought to sack the quarterback.
And the Clemson punter, Chuck Lynch, standing in his own end zone. And Triggs will try to do business again. High punt. Triggs signals for the fair catch at the 47-yard line with 8:11 to go. The California Golden Bears take over after the 38-yard punt. An impressive performance by California. The youngsters on that team were embarrassed by what happened in Palo Alto against Stanford. They got a little bit out of control, lost their poise in that game, had a number of unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. roughing the passer, several other things that occurred in that game. They were determined to come back here and make a statement today, and so far they have, playing tough, aggressive football, dominating Clemson for the most part, 17-3. Fine show by Bruce Snyder and his staff. Pulaski drops the screen to Chapman. Chapman steps away from the defender and breaks to the 30, the 20, and out at the 10-yard line. And you would have to say that California looks much quicker than Clemson.
You'll see the running back coming out set and work with the screen. Then the peel-off system get out there to help out. Good call on first down. See, they lose him. See, they're rushing. No one picks him up right there. He gets it. Now he gets the kick-out block right there. Now just good running skills. Blocks downfield. Little poor tackling there. Not coming to balance. Brush block there. Big play, Cal.
So the ACC being tarnished a little bit here in the early going as Russell White cuts into the 3-yard line. A powerful run. Robert O'Neill making the stop. There was White's best run of the game.
See, they're getting them rattled a little bit, and they felt if they could shake them up and do all these other things, then they could run on them. There's Coach Snyder right there in the middle of your screen. I think he felt maybe someone hit Russell just a little bit late. Where's the flag, he's saying.
Second down. White stops short of that goal.
You know, Russell ran for 229 yards to beat USC this year. That's a lot of yards against the USC defense. And they weren't as good as they normally are, but that's still a lot of yards. But he's been a guy, if his motor is running, he's as good as any back in the country.
The ACC, Georgia Tech staged a fine comeback. Great punt return by Clay to beat Stanford. But Virginia blown out by Oklahoma. And now California threatening to really pull out on Clemson in the first half. Fake toss, Pulaski rolling to the right, fires high and out of the end zone. He was being well pursued that time.
I don't know why they did that, Brent. From here, it looks like they could have made a first down before they make a touchdown. You'll see here, it's good fake if it works. Fake the toss to Russell. He's the guy that's been the horse that got him down there. But they had a chance for a first down. Well, they're going to go ahead for it right now.
It'll be tough going against this Clemson run defense. This is their strength. White's the running back. Here he comes. White for the touchdown. He walks in, angling to the left. Greg Zomalt blows the way open, and the Bears are blowing apart Clemson.
Just a deep ice slant play, middle of your screen, tailback. He comes off. The offensive line does a nice job right here. They come off the ball. Good guards kept around. Good block by the fullback, Zumalt. He walks in, shows the fans the ball. Here he goes again. Left guard pulls around. Good block right there by Anasema Sagapulo.
They're going for two off the toss to Zomalt. There's a penalty flag. They pulled the trick play. They came out and quickly lined up. And they had the underhanded toss for the two-point conversion, but let's let the referee sort this one out. Well, it's against Clemson.
They're pulling out all stops.
So the two-point conversion, and there's a discussion now about the legality of it. So let's see the referee sort this one out.
They went from the third down play, no substitutions, Brent, so they can't be discussing an illegal substitution.
I think Coach Snyder is ready to run on the field with a rule book.
I can't see what the debate would be.
Illegal motion, offense, offside, defense, Offset, replay.
Okay, let's do it again. And let's bet that they don't do that play again, all right? Here at the moment. Well, they're going to line up the same way, folks. This is the same lineup.
This time they shipped it over.
This time, so instead of 25, it'll be 24-3. You didn't see it the first time, folks. It doesn't matter. It didn't count. Never happened. Just pretend it never happened, okay? 24-3, and we're coming back.
When I've got the flu, I just want to crawl into a warm pair of flannel pajamas, hide under a warm down comforter. I just want to wrap myself in warmth.
That's why there's Tylenol Cold and Flu Hot Liquid, with more medicine than any other hot liquid flu formula, plus the Tylenol name you've always trusted. So it helps relieve your flu symptoms while it wraps you in soothing warmth. Tylenol Cold and Flu. Nobody cares for your flu like Tylenol Cold and Flu.
For the battery that performs 3 times better than industry standards, you've got to get to Sears.
Out here, if you don't have a Die-Hard, you don't have a prayer.
Sears Die-Hard. More power when you need it most.
Who's going to back it better than Sears?
I have Denorex on this side. As soon as I put Denorex on my hair, I felt like the itch was going away. The tingle feels like it's taken away the dandruff.
Denorex with conditioners, the dandruff shampoo you can feel working.
I have no dandruff, and I have no itch.
Napoleon, what was your hand in the jacket? People are talking.
Josephine, my briefs are killing me.
Oh, I have just the thing.
Fruit of the loom.
Totally comfortable.
Hey, c'est magnifique, eh?
How about that waistband?
It's super comfortable, mais oui.
And that soft pre-shrunk cotton?
Feels great, down to the skin.
Ooh la la.
For classic comfort, pick Fruit of the Loom briefs.
No, leave the hat on.
We are back at the Citrus Bowl in Orlando, Florida, and I'm Brent Musburger with Dick Vermeil. And folks, Dick assured me that Clemson would just be too much for California to handle in this one. Happy New Year, Dick, as we ring in 1992. That's the last time I'm going to dial your number. It's the kickoff, drive back way deep in the end zone. It's going to come out now on the 20-yard line. Dick, now, for Clemson, it's like an option team. It's like the old wishbone teams of Barry Switzer. So hard to come from behind in this situation.
It is tough, but they've been a good second-half team. They played better from the second quarter on. They played a little better defensively, except for the finesse plays, the screens and those kind of plays. They look a step slow in getting out into the perimeter from the inside out on that defense.
Clemson has punted 5 times in this game already. They have one 32-yard field goal. That's their only score of the game. Their defense came in allowing just 5 rushing TDs, and already today they've given up 2. Now they put the left-hander Moncrief in at quarterback. No, check that. That's still Cameron. That's still Cameron. I was ahead of myself. That comes in the second half, doesn't it? That comes in the second half.
If this guy Cameron is capable of, once he gets going, to really go in a hot streak.
And there he is with his helmet on. He's the young man who played against Duke over in the Tokyo Bowl when Clemson traveled over there. Cameron with a nicked up ankle, now rolling to the right, away from the pressure, firing, complete to Smith. Out of bounds at the 29-yard line, so they're still going to need a good 5 yards here for a first down. Start of a big day on ABC. Who, Dick, is going to win the Granddaddy, the Rose Bowl, between Washington and Michigan?
Well, if I were going to pick them, and you know how good I am at that, I'd have to go with Washington. I think they're the best team in the country.
That's the best news that the state of Michigan has ever received. Right?
But Michigan is very much capable of winning the ball game. You know that.
Notre Dame and Florida, and just when everybody says the Fighting Irish are finished, can't do it, beware of them in a bowl game. Folks, as Lou Holtz becomes the defensive coordinator for this one. 0-6 on 3rd down conversions. Cameron firing. There's his first 3rd down conversion. And it is Smith who is out of bounds. Chris Cannon there defensively. Clemson badly needs a touchdown here late in the first half, something to build on at halftime.
Well, you know, if you move the ball well enough, you're eventually going to get it in the end zone. But what they did that time is they converted for the first time in a while. They've got to keep the ball moving. It's not their style of attack to score in one play. So they have to just be as efficient as they possibly can, especially on first down.
Coach Snyder over there saying, move, block, move. Blunt, cut back. 38-yard line. Boy, California is such a different team than they were against Stanford, playing with a crispness. If there's anything that surprises me overall in this game, it's the fact that California looks so much quicker than Clemson in this game. I'm really surprised about that.
Well, I am not as surprised that they're quicker. I'm surprised that they're doing so well of handling the power of Clemson, the big strength, strong guys.
What they're doing coming from angles, changing up with their fronts. They've been able to get pressure on Cameron. These men down in the trenches doing an excellent job. There'll be pressure. Cameron steps away from it now. Big opening on the left. Cameron in a foot race. Cameron inside the 20. Touchdown Clemson. There's the big play. Deshaun Cameron pops one in. 62 yards.
This time, the quickness of Cal, they over-pursued a little bit. They get in there. See, there's Barcelo 13. They read the fake. Now watch him get up inside. See, now they really get going. Now this guy has really improved his scrambling ability this year. And here he is going to take it all away. He gets a nice block from Larry Ryan's down there, just enough to screen him and allow him in the end zone. Big, big play. Not designed, but the results are the same.
And the extra point by Nelson Welsh. And just like that, it's 24-10.
Here's another look at it. Rick Stockstill, the quarterback coach, told me that this guy has improved his scrambling ability. He didn't scramble much earlier because he likes to throw the football. I bet he's glad he scrambled on that one.
Sure glad they didn't switch to the left-hander.
You know, you're talking about that Duke game. They came back from being behind in that fourth quarter in the Duke game and did a real good job of putting some points on the board.
That's the longest run of the season for a Clemson back.
Well, when they lost Williams, you know, he had a 56-yard long yard run. When they lost him, they lost an awful lot of their offense, but they felt in losing him, it spread the responsibility for winning and execution and offense to everybody else, and they felt the offense improved.
The young man, Deshaun Cameron, we were talking about his future. He'd like to play in the NFL, but he realizes he's a little small for an NFL quarterback, but he said, tell the folks up in the Canadian Football League that I would love to come up there. 3 downs to make 10 yards, wider field, I can do it. I would think right now that the Rocket is saying, go get me Cameron. I can use him.
Could use some help. You know, he's already graduated from college. He's taken a few graduate courses now, so he's out of school.
Now it will be up to the Clemson defense. And as we look back at the Clemson record book, that's the longest run by a Tiger quarterback in 13 years. That's a lot of good quarterbacks, especially runners. Kicking along the ground, fielded by Holly. Holly at the 40-yard line. California's ball with 4:40 to go. Clemson wants badly to get it back before intermission.
Now, Clemson's got to do a real good job in this series and get the ball back quickly, Brett. They can't give them another big play. I think you might see a little more man-to-man coverage so they can do a better job of defensive screen plays, because when you're man-to-man on a screen call, you have a linebacker locked on to the receiver, and he follows him right to where they're going to throw in the ball and usually makes the play.
Chapman, the running back. The wide men are out to Pulaski's right. Chapman, the middle for 4 yards to the 45-yard line. And Arthur Bussey there defensively.
Chapman has been very effective in the games that we've seen him play, especially against University of Washington. He broke a big one up inside. His birthday is today.
This is just what you'd want in a bowl game. I've seen some dull defensive games so far in the bowl season. This one is anything but. Pulaski and the defense does the rest. It's going to be 3rd and about 3 yards coming up as Warren Forney, number 90, made the snap.
You know, I really watched the offensive guard on that play pull and block. That's Anasemo Sagapulo. He's about, they list him at 6 foot, but he's more like 5'9", 335. And when he comes out, he doesn't have to bend over very far to get under your pads to block you.
Pulaski has time, sprinting to the left, and a first down. And he took the defender on. Pulaski just giving up his body on that far side. He had played mostly safety in high school.
The first time I ever saw him play football, he was covering kickoffs as a kickoff coverage guy as the third quarterback a couple years ago. Here he is. Look at, he's tough. He wears the mask. His idol's Jim McMahon.
You get a youngster named Pulaski, and you think you got a defensive lineman to begin with, and that's how he played that game. Let's go. Let's play. 1st and 10. Pulaski sets the screen beautifully. And the tackle at the 40 on Greg Zumwalt. So this puts him in 2nd and short. And here comes this Cal offense again.
Yeah. You see, those kind of screen plays force defensive linemen to come off their rush, get off the block, and chase the ball carrier, the receiver, and that gradually wears you down.
Are you shocked that Chester McLaughlin has taken another break?
No, no. Not at all.
On 2nd down, the hand to Russell White. Now here's where they want to use White, close to the first down, to the 35-yard line. They feel that this defense might be just a touch winded. They've been on the field a lot, and they're going to try to bring it down.
I'd like to see him toss Russell White the ball outside, wide side of the field, and make the defense chase him to the sideline, because he really runs outside well. In fact, he runs anywhere he wants to most of the time.
What's your feeling about White? He's made an announcement that would indicate he's going to stay in school next year. Is that a good idea?
I think so. I think he needs another year of maturing. He could very well be the finest running back in the country next year as he matures. And you know the offense is going to be good and well coached when you have people like Steve Mariucci and Bill Cockerham and Tom Keel and Dan Casotto and Dick Arbuckle coaching that offensive football team. They'll be good.
This could be the most important defensive series of the game for the Tigers. With 2:40 to go in the first half, they're down 24-10. And McLaughlin watching his teammates. They take themselves out of the lineup whenever they want for Clemson. Somewhat unusual maneuver for some of their stars, but they substitute themselves. Here's the play you wanted, Dick. The toss to White. Dives out of bounds at the 29-yard line. Good gain on first down.
That made a heck of a call.
Good call.
Good call. When you run outside, you have to get a block by your tight end. Brent Woodhull does a good job, and you need a block by your fullback. Right here, Zumwalt, 28. See, he gets a knockdown. That gives him the corner, makes everybody else pursue, move the chains.
Zumwalt playing a heck of a game. He scored the first touchdown. He's blocked very well. He's caught passes. And he makes it easy for this fella. Here he is again doing just that. A knockdown on a linebacker. White does the rest. Out of bounds at that 20-yard line. What a splendid game plan. Keep White away from the attack in the early going until we think we've got the defense just a little tired. Don't let them shut our best running back down early.
Yeah, and you'll see why he runs efficiently here. Watch, Zumwalt gets a block. Then both wide receivers are out doing a good job getting their block. Sean Dawkins says my scholarship includes blocking, so he does it.
Now the Clemson defense needs a stop. It's 1st and 10 for Cal at the Clemson 20-yard line. White makes the most of that run for 3 yards, and Jackson, who's been active defensively, bringing him down for the Tigers. We have not heard much of number 44, Kirkland, on this Clemson defense, or even 93, McDaniel. And looking at those numbers, they're both out too.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Pulaski come with a bootleg off that type of action, Brent, because there was no backside that time.
Watching this series, their backups out there. A play fake by Pulaski, rolls around, still on the roll. He keeps it, and he is out of bounds.
2 in a row. I saw on the last counter play that they ran. The backside was really there. The coaches also saw it, so they pull the lineman, fake that run. See, now he comes out there. He gets outside contain. He wanted to throw good coverage downfield by the defense. He goes ahead, tucks it under his arm, and runs.
Levon Kirkland trots onto the field. He'll be lined up at the left outside as the rush man in this third down. Big third down here for California.
Broken
Roski
play.
Slips.
Broken play.
Is down. California will go for the field goal.
They're excited about the stop. The offense stopped themselves that time. Somebody fouled up.
What Clemson needs more than anything in the world at 125 and down by 2 touchdowns is a blocked field goal. We got a timeout called by the Clemson defense. So we've got an opportunity here, and let's take a look at what's ahead of us on prime time.
Thursday. People pushing it to the limit.
Every act, every move I make has a consequence.
For the thrill of it.
You just gotta love this sport. You just gotta love it.
And on the job.
Things go wrong. People do die.
Experience life on the extreme edge. Thursday at 9, 8 Central. He's a big-time bank robber. He's a small-time outlaw. And she's the reason they're on the run. Nick Nolte, Martin Short, 3 Fugitives Sunday.
Well, here at the Citrus Bowl, California leading Clemson 24-10. We'd like to welcome you folks who just watched East Carolina win a big one coming from behind over North Carolina State. 37-34 the final in that game. They were down 34-17. So the Pirates, with a wonderful season and a win in their bowl game and another loss by the ACC. Their only win so far by Georgia Tech, and Bobby Ross, the architect there, hit the road for the NFL, being named the head coach of the San Diego Chargers. He's a wonderful coach. He won his national championship here in this bowl last year. 33-yard field goal on its way off to the right and close. Good. Doug Bryan, a 33-yarder, and it's 27-10.
Well, Coach Snyder said he wanted to recapture the personality of the team prior to that Stanford game. They lost their composure in the Stanford game. The team was embarrassed about it. He was embarrassed about it. It's obvious they've regained that personality.
We'd have a game if Clemson had showed up here with a defense.
Well, you know, they're not used to seeing this kind of football week in and week out in the ACC.
What's different about it?
Well, they do more things with the ball. And there's so many skilled athletes. In the Pac-10, a lot of times, you get a guy open, you complete it. A lot of passes in the ACC are not defended, they're thrown incomplete.
Does that bode trouble for Michigan?
Michigan can play. Michigan can play.
What's the Big Ten in bowls so far this year? I think they're 1-1-1 with Ohio State trailing Syracuse the last time I checked. Bryan kicking off a 27-10 entertainer here in the Citrus Bowl. Lions will down it for the touchback. Can check how the different conferences have done overall, and you can see, backing up what Dick Vermeil says, the Pac-10 has won 54% of its bowl games. But the ACC, too, has been a good bowl conference, largely because of Clemson. This year, there's what the three have done, but the ACC has changed already, as North Carolina State has lost. Isn't that right? First and 10 for Clemson. We get word that there's still 6 seconds left in that North Carolina State game. So that one's not quite a final. Here's the handoff to Blunt. Blunt to the 24-yard line. Marsala and Sanders there defensively.
You know, you see the hole, but what Cal is doing with their quickness, they get to the hole. It looks like it's there, and then all of a sudden, boom, there's two guys.
Now Cameron. So Blunt.
You know, I was on the practice field the other day, and I watched Cameron closely, and he threw the ball awfully well. Nice tight spirals, very accurate.
51 seconds left for the Tigers and a first down. Derek Witherspoon checks in, and that's what's coming up at halftime. Cameron gets one-on-one with Smith. Smith with Cannon, and Cannon defends it at the 20-yard line.
Good defense by Chris Cannon. He came into the ball game with 5 pass interceptions. Should have had his 6th one right there, but he'll settle for that with 38 seconds left in the half. Good job of playing pass defense by Chris Cannon. See, this guy here, and he can also leap. He didn't have to there, but he was a 6'8" high jumper in high school. So he's a real fine athlete playing good secondary coverage.
Final half minute here, the first half at the Citrus Bowl. Cameron. And there's the completion. At the 33-yard line, Ray Sanders delivers the hit on Ty Gibson, the tight end. The seconds ticking down. And East Carolina's win. Syracuse still ahead of Ohio State in the 3rd quarter. Now Cameron. Incomplete, stopping the clock with 11 seconds to go.
Brent, their wide receiver routes are so short that they're barely getting around the linebackers as they curl back inside. You know, they've got to stretch those patterns a little bit more.
So the final 11 seconds. But the big play by Cameron, the 80-yard drive he engineered with the 62-yard run for the touchdown. Now they hurry up at 11 seconds, and this is one of those plays where they sprinted the punter out onto the field.
Cal had some problem getting the return people on properly and the other people off properly.
3 timeouts to go. If they had turned it over quickly here on this 4th down and long, California would have had a free shot at the end zone. They did not want to give a long field goal or a pass an opportunity to be successful here. And a reminder that January 11th on ABC, national crowns and Olympic berths on the line. U.S. Figure Skating Championships presented by Diet Coke and NutraSweet. It'll be the season premiere, and our top male skaters will compete for the national title. Later in the prime time special at 9 Eastern, the women will take on the ice for the ladies final and live. Christy Yamaguchi. That's all coming up in January on ABC. There's where they will skate for the glory at the Orlando Arena. Not far here from the Citrus Bowl.
Everybody back in Oakland, Vegas. How you doing?
Everybody's doing fine back there in the Bay Area, and very pleased that you guys are being successful here in the state of Florida. Terrific performance by the Bears in the first half. You couldn't have asked for a better job. One of the things to keep in mind with bowl games, the halftimes run a little bit longer than normal, and sometimes you play 2 football games rather than 1. You don't want to lose that momentum that you had going in the first half. Treggs, who had a spectacular punt return for a touchdown, makes a fair catch. Final 4 seconds coming up.
4 seconds.
Cal has been so aggressive the whole ball game with their offense. Here, I kind of doubt they'll do anything. Maybe they'll go ahead and throw the big alley-oop and try to lay one down there, but 4 seconds is no sense in fooling around.
After our intermission, Clemson will have the ball. They will receive the kickoff. They get the first possession. And California will take this lead on into the locker room. They're going to be very content to go in there with a 27-10 lead.
Watch him fake a flop on and throw it deep.
I'm watching. So we're going to return with our halftime activities after this message and a word from our ABC station.
What's up,
You
Dallas?
see the chancellor leading them to the locker room. He's excited.
Don't I know you?
Get a glass of water. Throw it in your face. At Chapman Stadium, people actually enjoy this.
Eclipse. Noun. The motion of one heavenly body passing in front of another. An eclipse occurs only with the perfect alignment of arcs and curves and angles. Eclipse. Verb. To surpass. To cast in shadow. To leave others behind. The stunning Eclipse for 1992. From Mitsubishi, the word is getting around.
Reach for the stars. But for the first time, touch them.
How's this?
Monday,
We hire people for various kinds of entertainment.
an undercover agent busts a prostitution ring.
You're gonna pay for this.
When FBI The Untold Stories moves to its new night, then...
We can do the old bang, 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 sheriff's department. We don't need a key.
Now, Lieutenant John Bonnell moves up in rank as he hosts the show that turned him from cop to celebrity.
We don't have to tie you down like a dog, right? Okay, cool.
American Detective caps an all-new hour of action, starting Monday at 8, 7 Central.
Because you believe these trucks shouldn't carry a spare tire.
It's the right rear now.
Because up here, crisp-tasting beer just comes naturally.
It's the right rear now.
Because when the whole gang gets together, there's no room for filling up. So reach for the Silver Bullet, the beer that won't weigh you down.
It's the right rear now. Cool as light. It's the right rear now.
Anderson fades back. Here comes the rush. And oh, man, is he brought down hard.
Hey, that's no way to treat a future Hall of Famer. I hate seeing myself get jerked around like that.
Thankfully, you're a lot safer in the broadcast booth.
Dad, at AE door, you don't get jerked around.
Enhance the appearance of your home with a top-quality garage door, entry door, or storm door from the professionals at AE Door Sales. At least I don't run into guys like that anymore.
Hey, Ken, let's watch some more.
AE Door, they sell the best and service the rest.
Happy New Year from all of us at Channel 12.
Happy New Year, everybody. Game one of our tripleheader here on ABC. California leading Clemson 27-10. And then in our second game, out we go to Pasadena for the Granddaddy. What a matchup. Washington against Michigan. Let's get a preview right now. Here's our colleague, Keith Jackson.
Once in a while, you luck into a matchup in sports that you feel is going to be a classic of a decade, maybe even longer than that. We think we have that kind of a matchup in this 78th playing of the Rose Bowl game. The Washington Huskies, Pac-10 champions. The Michigan Wolverines, the Big Ten champions. All-stars everywhere you look. And on that note, let's turn to Bob Greasy and talk about the big people in the trenches, the big uglies, the guys that I like.
Well, the big Michigan offensive line will be tested today. Washington, a very quick, aggressive defensive line led by everybody's All-American, the Outland Award winner, the Lombardi Award winner, Steve Entman. That'll be a big battle all day.
But moving from the big people to the little people, two of the most exciting on the field are the little people in this ballgame.
Mario Bailey for Washington, and of course Desmond Howard, the Heisman Trophy winner, the Maxwell Award winner. Big people inside. They want to run the ball, but they got two exciting players outside.
So it is speed, athletic ability, it's muscle and power. It's Washington, Michigan coming up in the Rose Bowl.
So that will be the scene after we leave Orlando. It'll be the Rose Bowl. Dick, I know that you and I have talked back and forth about this particular game. I just think the Pac-10 has always had an advantage on the Big Ten out in the Rose Bowl, but you seem to be leaning a little bit toward the Wolverines.
Well, I give them a better chance than I think some other people do because they're playing the great team in Washington. But I really think Michigan is a better team than people give them credit for. They keep looking back to the Florida State loss and saying they can't play against the wide open team. But I think they're much better today.
And, you know, Greg Empman, there was talk about him coming down with the flu, and hopefully he'll be all right for this game coming up for Michigan. And our halftime activities continue from Orlando in a moment.
McDonald's presents future Olympic hopefuls, Carlos Tapia Ruano and his innovative soccer style. Uda Grunewald, whose backstroke could stun the world. The powerful Nozowitzki, weightlifting. Kelly Peterson, equestrian events. Bob Watson, rings. And Jacques Bouclet, a natural for discus. McDonald's is proud to sponsor today's U.S. Olympic team and to keep the dream alive for tomorrow's hopefuls.
Are we having orange juice with breakfast?
Daddy, of course we are.
Oh, these aren't the little glasses I'm used to.
Orange juice is good for you. Have a big glass.
Orange juice. It's got the vitamins, minerals, and taste that make you feel so good.
No bacon and eggs?
Nope. Bulgur wheat muffins.
100% pure Florida quality orange juice. It makes you feel so good.
I'll have seconds.
Another muffin?
No, orange juice.
Oh.
Our best take the ice at the U.S. Figure Skating Championships, presented by Diet Coke and NutraSweet. First, it's the men's final on the season premiere of ABC's Wide World of Sports. And that night, it's the ladies' final live. It's all January 11th on ABC Sports.
For more than a century, the University of California at Berkeley has nurtured a promise of innovation, of opportunity, of a pioneering spirit. A record of achievement that includes 15 Nobel Prizes, a tradition of excellence that attracts the world's brightest students. The University of California at Berkeley, keeping the promise.